So I tried that every time I say goodbye, you would notice. God knows all those little things that made me cry. Did you notice?
Alright, so I stopped the music. Hopefully you can hear me now. Let me know how the sound is. Sorry, technical issues. Haven't done this live stream thing in a while for on YouTube specifically. Um, we should be getting sound. You can hear me now. Let me know how the sound is. Alright, so it was just probably the music is a little loud. So I'll make sure to keep not speak when the music is playing, and or just pause. So pause the music when I have to speak. All right, so let's get right into it. So the goal for this session is to talk about the production behind this specific album that I've opened up right now. This is Natasha Humera Ejaz's Ordinary Miracle album that I helped produce. So I'm going to open up some of the project files, show you some of the production techniques, and yeah, if you have any questions related to that, feel free to let me know. But I'm just going to pick, some of the things that I think that were kind of unique that we did, worth sharing with you guys. So I've actually already opened up the project here. So this is one of the songs, Hire Moti with Slow Spin. So this was probably the most ambitious project, or probably the most ambitious song on the album. It's a pretty big project, as you can see. If I open all these groups up, it's close to 200 and something, 227 different tracks. We recorded a lot of live instruments, a lot of MIDI sequence, electronic elements, a lot of really interesting things going on here. So it would be helpful if you've already heard the song and then I kind of break it down, but it's fine if you haven't heard it as well. Maybe after I talk about this stuff, you can go back and listen to the album and kind of be like, oh, that was kind of interesting, the thing that he talked about. So let me just play a little bit about the song and then kind of talk about things. So let's see. I'm not going to play the entire song. I'm just going to play snippets, solo elements, and describe things. So maybe I should talk about, okay, I'll play a little bit of this section. So this is kind of middle of the intro section. Alright, so I want to first talk about the drums that you're hearing here, right? So some of it is just MIDI sequence stuff. You can see contact instruments. So here's a conjira. Yeah, it's just one of the contact instruments. I think it's the India series. Then here, some of this stuff I bounced out. As you can see, here's just audio. There's some bongos, very, very simple, very quiet. There's some splice loops. I believe this is a splice loop. So Natasha likes to use splice, so she'll throw in some splice loops. I like to MIDI sequence, so I'll add the MIDI sequence elements. And then here we have Nagara drum. So this was recorded at Crypto Cipher. It's quite a ambitious recording to sample an instrument like the Nagara drums. So this is a group, and I'm not using it inside of Contact, inside the sampler. I just selected some of my favorite hits and I kind of piece it together, as you can see over here. So I've soloed the Nagara groups. Let's listen to that. So that's, yeah, so those are live recorded drums. And then when you combine all this together, you get this really nice effect. And there are more drums that kick in later on, I believe over here, the taikos and stuff like that. But just to listen to this section. And just to build on that, here we have another section with some taiko drums, bamboo clack sounds, some snare drums. Let's hear all these together. There's a little tabla here as well. Right, so that's basically the whole percussion layer. So many different combination of different instruments to create this part. And now let's hear it in context. So that creates this really beautiful effect, almost very, very cinematic kind of a sound. I'll talk about some of the more live instruments we recorded, aside from obviously vocals. You're hearing the vocals, we'll come back to that. Let's talk about some of these instruments here. So erhu. So erhu is a Chinese stringed instrument, very difficult instrument to play. I found this amazing erhu player. She's fantastic. So we recorded a whole bunch of layers here. I didn't use all of it because it was getting a little too much. So certain layers I decided to keep. So let's hear a little bit from here. So you record multiple takes and then kind of layer elements like that. So that was kind of a nice texture. So I liked that. So that's the erhu, and there's the other parts of the song also has it. And then here more Chinese instrument. This is a guzheng. This actually I played. I don't really know how to play it properly, but I have like a small guzheng. So I decided let's use this and record this in this track. Yeah, so that's just a little bit of delay there. And the same thing repeats, and over here, a little strum of the strings, which is fairly easy to do. Anybody can do that. So that is another background element that you're hearing. There's a lot going on in this track, and you may not hear it when you just listen to the entire song, but if you pay close attention, you may hear these elements. Flutes. So this is actually a good friend of mine. We recorded some Japanese flutes. So she just came back from Japan and brought these traditional Japanese bamboo flutes. So we decided, okay, let's record some of this as well. And again, just long notes, like textural, unique articulations. Yeah, she's more of a classical flute player, but it was really awesome that she did this. And now again, the same section, now that you've heard some of the elements, if you hear the whole thing together. Yeah, maybe my mic volume was a bit low, so I've increased it a little bit. Hopefully that made a difference there. Just to make sure, yeah, level is up. I'll make this a bit quieter, maybe the music a little bit quieter, and I just speak a bit louder. So yeah, so that's everything together. Other live instruments, I play guitar, and I'm not sure in this song if I actually recorded any guitar elements because there's so much going on here. But let's move forward a bit and see some of this section over here. So you have this very ethnic sounding section with all these traditional instruments from all over the world, and the whole song kind of transitions into a very modern, like westernized sound.
So I tried that every time I say goodbye, you don't notice I was there in the first place.
So hearing the ghatam, that's like I would say like one of the key elements of this section, and of course Natasha singing the verse there in English, and then this is this very like DJ style section. still keeping those vocal elements layered on top, kind of like a hook on top of this. Let me show you some of the, since we talked about the, traditional drum elements, let's talk about the Western electronic drums, if I can find it. Here we go, drums. So I'll solo this group. So as you can see, again, just audio directly in the track. Maybe not the best way to work, but sometimes it's convenient. I like, a lot of people like this, just the ability to be able to see the waveform and see exactly where things are lining up. I appreciate being able to see the waveform because in MIDI, you may not be able to see that, right? So it's just a MIDI, like a line, right? The MIDI note message. Yes, you can look at the velocity, but I like to be able to see the actual waveform and maybe adjust the gain. If I feel it's too loud or quiet, I can adjust it over here. So that's something I like doing. And also these hi-hats, probably a little tricky to do in this audio domain. It's easier with a MIDI controller to MIDI sequence this. It takes a little longer, but it is possible. So yeah, that sounded kind of nice. And then I'll just repeat the whole thing, maybe subtle differences here and there. So that's, oh, more, some more live recording. So this is claps. So I'll solo the clap section. So this is just me clapping again and again with that particular rhythm. I just clapped and layered. I don't know how many takes are these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 11 different takes of me just clapping. So it sounds like a group of people clapping together. And it's so easy to do, right? So you can just, if you have a microphone, kind of semi-quiet room, you can layer your own live claps. Let's hear that section. Yeah, so that live clap is layered along with the drums. So electronic drums and then live claps. It gives it a little bit of an interesting vibe. If it's just pure electronic drums, may sound a bit different. And as you can see, I panned some of these the claps left or right to kind of give it more stereo processing. I keep looking at you here, checking the chat, everything's okay. It looks like we're good so far. Let's see what else I can show you in this project. So this is mainly Natasha. Very interesting. The song this was, I believe, the last song in the album. We were done with the song, and then Natasha posted like snippet of the song on social media, like saying like, "Hey, album being work in progress. Check out this tiny snippet." Just people do that to hype up the release. And then somebody saw that story, another artist, and was like, "Wow, this sounds like a really cool song. I would like to be involved in it, do a little verse or sing a little bit." So that's why this is Hirimoti with Slow Spin. So it's another artist from Pakistan. She has a very, very beautiful voice, very different from Natasha's voice. So it was a really nice texture towards the end to add in the song. So yeah, so primarily Natasha singing, and then we have the slow spin vox we recorded. And by the way, this album was recorded all over the place. So I'm in Boston, United States. Natasha was all over the world. She was primarily in Pakistan, but she also was in Nepal for half of this album. So some of the vocals you're hearing was recorded while she was in Nepal. And Slow Spin, she's from Pakistan, but I believe she lives in New York. So she just sent me her recording. So she recorded herself and just sent it to me. And of course in India, at Crypto Cipher, we recorded some of the drums. Let's hear Slow Spin's voice here.
Did you notice?
So you're hearing the same hook or the same motif of the song, but sung by Slow Spin. And then she does, some embellishments of the melody. And switch back to Natasha's voice. You'll see that across this entire project, there are a lot of muted elements. So I tend to do this a lot, where I will put in everything that I think will kind of work, and then afterwards mute things that's not working. It's always good to have more stuff then rather be like, oh, it sounds empty, we need to add something else, what do we add? You're just wondering. So when you're in that phase of adding elements to your production, you are being creative, you're excited to work on this, and you have all these ideas, just put it all in there, and then you can always mute it, if it's too much. So that's why you're seeing a lot of muted elements. And the entire groups, we recorded Natasha's voice, and they're like, it's not quite sounding well, let's do the whole thing again. So there's the old lead vocals, and then there's a new one as well that we keep, new lead. Let's now talk about, so these vocals that you're hearing, like this big choir sound, which is actually not a big choir, just like me clapping in my room over here to make it sound like multiple people are clapping. So the main choir backing vocals you hear is just Natasha and Maria. So she's actually a Spanish girl. She lives in Nepal. She speaks English, she speaks Hindi and Urdu, I believe, and she also speaks Nepali. So very multicultural person. So she is in this. So it's just between Natasha and Maria. So let me solo those backing vocals. I believe it's yeah, I think it's this section here. So there's just Natasha's voice. Yeah, so we'll do many. So when you record the same voice again and again and you want to make it sound good, naturally the human voice can never sing exactly the same way, but you will try to sing it slightly different to make it more unique, right? So maybe go a bit away from the microphone, closer to the microphone, sing with, more energy, less energy. So all that will kind of translate to almost mimicking like different people are singing this. So that's her voice. And if you just hear Maria, but again, it's a group, right? It's one person, but it's a group of many takes, so you can see over here. So, I mean, this one was just 5 takes, but you can see here it expands. There's harmonies as well. Let's play this part. So you can hear the main melody and then the drone voice as well. That creates a nice effect. It's kind of inspired by Balkan singing, Balkan style singing. You can check it out on YouTube. Just type in Balkan choir. So combine Natasha and Maria's voice together. So you get this nice blend of Natasha's voice sounds more in front, like closer, more intimate, and Maria's like this more powerful, but more in the background. So that's also something I just did by playing with reverb and things like that. So yeah, that's what's happening here. I don't know if there's anything else super interesting to talk about in this song in terms of what we did, but yeah, those are the main elements. And if you haven't checked it out, go ahead and check out the song. And you can maybe come back and check out the recording of this live stream if you're curious to know about certain elements that you're hearing. So yeah, so that's Hire Moti featuring Slow Spin. I'm going to move on to another song. Let's see. So I have all our projects in here from the album. Let's go. So going to extreme. So Hire Moti was pretty much the last song of the album. Right before I was traveling to. So I'm in the East Coast in America. I was traveling to the West Coast for the mastering session, and then we heard that we need to add another voice. So we quickly recorded Slow Spin and got it done. So that was kind of last minute. And then Khud Se Baatein was the first song of the album. So in fact, this was done, I believe, the year before. Let's open up the latest. And you can see I have all these different versions, so many different bounces, karaoke version, master, MP3, no vocals, playback version, mix on alt. So we try different things, bounce, we're not in the same location, so I have to bounce things, send it to her, and then she'll give me some feedback, and then I'll send in different bounce. As I'm working on things, I will save as and have different versions. I believe this is the last version. Open this one, don't save this one. If you haven't already realized, I'm using Ableton Live. Mostly we use Ableton Live, though for one song we used Logic Pro, and I'll show you that one as well. Let's see, anything else in the chat? Oh, okay, cool. Some questions here. Some of the instruments you showcased earlier, like the flutes and the Chinese instrument, had layers recorded in both mono and stereo. So let me see if I remember. Yeah, so I'm a big fan of microphones in general. So also if you see Crypto Cipher Sumit also likes ribbon microphones. I have like at least 3 or 4 ribbon I'm getting another ribbon microphone. I really like microphones. So even though I'm recording one instrument, it's nice to record with multiple microphones if you have access to it, if your audio interface has, multiple inputs. So I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure I recorded with multiple microphones. I actually have, it's going to take a while to open up, but I have a stereo ribbon microphone. So the microphone itself is stereo. And I remember I bought this around the time when we were recording this album. So I use that stereo ribbon mic. It's convenient because if you want stereo recordings, you have to set up 2 microphones, 2 stands. And if it's a home studio, it gets a little, extra work. But if you have a stereo microphone, it already has 2 outputs. So you just have to set up that one microphone and then route, plug it into your audio interface. And that's it. You have this stereo microphone and you can figure out how to position it. It's little less flexible because if you have 2 microphones, you can place one in that corner and place the other one in another corner and do whatever you want. Stereo microphone, it's one piece, right? You can't break it into 2 pieces. So it's kind of limited in terms of how much stereo-ness you can get. But I think I definitely remember doing this. I use the stereo mic and I also use the regular, all mics are mono, so I use another microphone. So I had like 3 different signals going in. So I did that just because I had access to this gear. Obviously, you can just use one microphone, put reverb, put like stereo processing to make it sound more stereo. I've closed that project, but I'll quickly show you how you can make a mono sound more stereo. This is not like some secret. I think most people know about this, but let's see. Oh, this one has some guitars. So let's see. Let's do it on vocals. It'll be the most easy to hear, and I may already have this. So this song was the first song we recorded for the album. We had a guest singer. We first did the whole song, and then we realized let's have an intro. So this is the chorus. So that's mainly the main song. We didn't have an intro before. So we were thinking, let's add some intro, let's get someone. And then Natasha found this awesome male vocalist and he added this intro part over here. And this was done in a studio in Pakistan. So you can see I have 2 takes here. It's very common to double take. Now vocals you should not, or people don't record with multiple microphones because it's just projecting this way, whereas an instrument can project almost in like a 360-degree, acoustic instruments. So vocals, you don't need to do that, but you want vocals to also sound stereo, so you just record it twice and pan things around. But let's say I only had 1 take, right? I just have this 1 take. Reverb will be stereo. Reverb naturally is always stereo. It's on my group, I believe, on this entire group. If I see Vox group, no, where's the reverb coming from? Maybe it's a send. Yeah, the send, right? So there's a send here. Oh, no, yeah, there's a reverb over here. So some distortion, a little bit of EQing just for this section, kind of made that bandpass effect. But again, going back to this idea that I only have 1 recording, I want to make it sound more stereo. One very simple trick is to add a delay. I do this all the time if I want this, nice stereo effect. Add a delay, no feedback, no filter, drive at 100%, and I'll turn off the sync thing, and I'll turn off the link one as well, so then go to time. So I'll set one time to, if possible, set it to 0, so no delay at all. So left side is perfectly on time, and right side, you can play around with this, so maybe 10 milliseconds or so. So left and right will be slightly out of time from each other. That creates this, stereo width effect. It sounds very stereo. Sometimes it's a bit too much. So you want to be careful with that. Maybe if I find it's too much, I'll bring the dry wet down. So I'm hearing the dry mono signal and a little bit of this stereo processing. I'm already hearing it right now. It's like sounding like super wide. Yeah, so this is one trick to make a mono signal kind of sound stereo. Yeah, so that's one approach, right? Stereo. But then all these other plugins, there are other different ways to make things stereo. But the key element, like what is stereo? If one sound sounds stereo, even though it's like one sound, it's basically left channel and right channel, there's different information. So either there's time delay, Either there's pitch, sometimes the pitch can be slightly changed, slightly sharp, slightly flat, or anything else. Could be the EQ is different. As long as left and right are different, our brain will perceive like this, stereo width effect. So you can decide what approach you want to take to make things stereo. So that's one trick I would use. Good question. Hopefully that answer was not too long. So my production technique or arranging technique is I like a lot of space, right? You have all these instruments and then take it away and bring it back and take it away. Like dynamics basically. So I'm a big fan of dynamics. So this entire chorus section just sounds like that. Right, there's while she's saying this phrase here, all the instruments I'll cut out, right? I'll just make room for, well, in this case, this. Oh, actually, no, this is muted. Yeah, so basically you're not hearing anything else in those gaps. So that makes the song very dynamic. And it's the beginning of the song. You don't want to go all out right at the beginning. You want to gradually build up. So this is a chorus, but we jump to this chorus. See, it's more active. So you want your choruses to be different. With electronic music, it's very simple to copy, paste, and the song is done. And then it's kind of boring. It's the same thing, right? Listening to the same thing again and again. So, and people are, if they like your song, they're already listening to the same song again and again. So you want to give them a little bit more variety. Right, so that kind of pauses can be really cool. And you can see another one here. Pre-chorus. Going into chorus, I tend to do this a lot. Right, so we build up and we stop to that, whatever the snap or clap sound is, and then you hear her voice just for a brief moment, and then the next section kicks in. Also a great way to emphasize certain words in your lyrics. So you want people to really focus on a specific word, just cut everything else, and just for that one word, just focus on that. Yes, just building, it's essentially the same progression, same groove, so a little bit of subtle changes in the arrangement can make it sound interesting. Let's check out this breakdown. So breakdowns work well if the previous section is intense. So let's hear this pre-chorus section. Right, so you have this big Hollywood, Bollywood style percussion, so I think you have some contact elements here. There's a filter slowly opening it up. A lot of layers. Yeah, so that kind of creates this big impact and then it cuts away for the breakdown. And then with Zishan, the male vocal we recorded a lot of layers, but I only kept a few because you want to be careful with this dance pop song. You don't want to overdo things. So he opens up in the intro. Let's see the one. I think this is the one where you did not keep at all. Oh no, this is the one. Yeah. So some of the elements over here. I still have my stereo thing, so I'll turn that off. Let me talk about some of the synths. So I've used, so in Ableton Live we get some stock synths. I believe for this I just used the stock, didn't use any third-party plugin. Let's see, groups, guitars, drums, instruments maybe. Go inside here. Yeah, so there's some keys. So some of this keys stuff Natasha will do, and then I will add more. Like I think I added this harp, I added the bass thing here. Sometimes if she uses a splice loop, that's a bass splice loop, I will recreate it myself in a synthesizer, just because maybe I want to have more control over the notes, because if it's a loop, it's just a loop, you can't change anything. So wavetable, yeah. So this is a synth. If you use Ableton Live, this is a stock synth in Ableton Live. It's very simple, but also nice and easy to use. Some automation on the filter, gradually opens up. It's here with the bass. It's hard. So a lot of sidechain compression to kind of create that bumping effect, and of course it's coming from the drums. Let's hear some of the drums as well. Again, as you can see, just adding waveform directly or the audio clips directly on the track. Making some nice cymbal stuff. I'm wondering where that came from. I forgot about the cymbals. Let's see. Oh, I guess yeah. So just ride cymbal. Kind of emulating like a drummer playing the ride. And here I don't have it. Oh, that's a nice thing. That's, where is that? This is muted. Let me try to find. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So when you have a drum loop, it's fairly the same throughout. You want to throw in some little fills here and there, just like a real drummer would add a fill at the end of the fourth bar or so. So this is kind of emulating that. So I believe this was just a loop. Yeah, so sometimes you can pull this out and look at the original. So that was the original loop. Clearly not in time. So instead of trying to warp it and align it, I decided I'm just going to cut it up and place the hits I like and put it on the grid. Yeah, so again, little manual work, but end result is kind of cool. Alright, so that's mainly the elements here in this song. Guitars. So yeah, there's some other songs where I can talk more about guitars, but there's some electric guitars here being recorded, solo it. Using a third-party plugin for the actual sound. I mean, not for the actual sound, but for, to make it sound more like a guitar amp. But very, very staccato, and you can see all these gaps. And then I made it more active later on, and then I think there's also acoustic. Yeah, these strums are like acoustic strums. Oh, sorry, no, electric. Yeah, I'm also automating the reverb, so it starts to get bigger in terms of space, reverberation, and then cuts back down. So that's that thing that builds up and cuts down right before the chorus. So if you hear this again. Yeah, sometimes I'll cut it out completely where it's absolute silence. Even the reverb I'll automate. But here you can hear some of the tail of the drums is still lingering on, which is fine. It's just subjective. You can decide what you like. Yeah, so that's a little bit about this song. So this is the first song on the album, Khud Se Baatein. Alright, let's look at more. Maybe I'll show you the Logic one. We looked at Ableton Live a lot, so I'm going to close Ableton Live. Let me show you the song we did in Logic. Now, this song was actually a very old song we redid. It used to be called Candles. And then this song is fully in English. So we changed the song to, the name was called finally Did You. Because the song lyrics doesn't have anything that says candles. So I kind of like the song, the name, title, Candles. I got used to it, but Natasha was like, let's use Did You because that's actually from the lyrics. So I'll open this version 1.1. So this is going to open up in Logic Pro. I don't know anybody out there on a Mac computer has used Logic, another DAW. If you're wondering like why one DAW versus another, I think since this was an older project, I still had the older project in Logic because back then Natasha was primarily using Logic. So I also just stuck with Logic. But then later on she moved on to Ableton Live, so the rest of the songs are in Ableton Live. So here is this song. There's also another big song, like 93 different tracks. We recorded a lot of live instruments, mainly guitars. Danish, another really amazing guitar player from Pakistan. He recorded some guitar parts. I recorded some mandolins and some acoustic guitars. But mainly a lot of the guitar parts were him. He's definitely a much guitar player than me. a much better guitar player than me. He's also probably a much guitar player than me. All right. Hope you are hearing the sound from Logic. I didn't check if that is working, but yeah, it should be working. Yeah, it looks like it's working fine. So that's like an intro, a lot of guitar acoustic elements, and then this very electronic thing comes in here. We use a lot of these bell-like sounds. Solo some of these elements. Celeste music boxes. Beautiful, right? When you solo them, it's like, wow, you can isolate these elements and really hear what's going on. That's what was happening there on top of the drums. Now, the drums technically are not electronic. It's this percussion instrument. Yeah, so this is just Logic instrument. It's called coffee shop percussion. It's cajon basically, yeah? So cajon sound, and there's some other sidechain compression, snare pumping thing happening here. Let's hear some of the vocals in the verse.
So you think you were smart about it. So you thought that you got it right. So you thought that's what you wanted. So you thought you were shining bright. La la la. La 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 la.
Yeah, it's a very, very happy kind of song. This is more of that. This is electric piano. I think. Yeah, this was Natasha's melody initially, and then I added, instruments around it to kind of support it. I'm doing that same pluck sound just like from the previous song I showed you, but there's no wavetable synth in Logic, so I use something else. What did I use? Let's see, I think it's this plug thing here. Vital. So you may have heard of Vital, very cool third-party plugin. It's also free, so very dead mouse-like pluck part, and automation on filter cutoff. Classic things that always work. This was really hard to arrange and mix because so many vocal layers that are overlapping on top of each other. So I had to really decide, okay, which vocal element do I want the audience to focus on at any given moment, right? Now, if something is repeating, audience has, the listener has already heard that. So maybe I will focus on the new thing that they haven't heard before. Like this part, there's no anymore. So that part is new. So I figured the background stuff, you've already heard it. So let's make that a bit quieter and focus on this. There's also another synth I want to show you that's happening here. Oh, the Juno 106. So this is a classic, very famous synth from the 80s, but obviously the Cipher version of it. This is from Arturia. Let's hear this in isolation. Beautiful, big sound. Let's hear it with the music boxes and the cellist. That's all that is happening, and then there's also acoustic. If you just hear the acoustic elements. Yeah, so that's so many different layers of. This is mainly me playing. I added those layers. And here the groove changes up a little bit. Again, like I've shown you, everything directly on the track. Though this one was MIDI sequence because the instrument is a MIDI instrument. I really like that snare sound, kind of like marching snare. I'm trying to find where it is. Should be along with the drums. Oh, this one here, clack. I call it clack. like a marching snare, marching drum type stuff.
Holding on to my memories and yours. We'll have our time. We'll have our time again. We'll get that chance again. We'll hold a smile.
Then I had some. So this was new. So in the original version from like I don't know 10 years ago, we didn't have all this entire section. So this was added later on. We got some electric guitars here, and you can see a lot of elements are muted. So all the stuff is muted. All the drums are muted because this is kind of coming close to the end of the song, right? So you want to mellow things out. You don't want it to be same energy.
Dancing in the jungle.
This is Danish playing guitar, really beautiful guitar recording.
Dancing in the jungle. Playing games with our faces. Sharing only fairy tales.
Yeah, so again, going back to the thing where I said you add all these elements and then later on you mute it or turn it off or delete it if you don't like it. So just to show you, let's hear it with all these elements. So I think this is just the drums.
Dancing in the jungle. Playing games with our faces.
So it sounds weird, right? What is going on, right? The bass has stopped playing, so why do you have drums over here? So it doesn't make sense for having that towards the end. But yeah, so that's essentially the song. I think I've shown you most of the elements here. Before I wrap this one, let me show you one little thing. It was kind of fun. Sorry, why am I looping? Yeah, this section here. So it's nice. We like to throw in some even though it's pop music, we'll throw in something interesting on the vocals. So So that's just Natasha's voice reversed and pitched up to create that effect. And just for that brief moment, we had it throughout and it was like, oh, it's getting too much. It's coming in the way of all the other instruments. So let's just feature it here, make room for it. People can hear it and then move on to something else. So there's this one little exciting thing you hear and then move on to the rest, to the other elements. All right, so that was that little vocal thing we did. All right, so I'm going to close this. Don't save. Let's look at some more other songs from the album. Yeah, and if you have questions, let me check. Are there any questions here in the chat? Recorded, yeah, that's going to be a recorded version. The live thing you can watch later if you want to. Let's see, what should I open? Let's look at this one. It's a bit more dancey song, Years Go By. Let's open the latest version, version 3, I guess. So we're back in Ableton Live now. Take a look at this project. So this was a more dance song, has this very consistent 4 on the floor, almost throughout the song. I remember initially when I changed the arrangement, like I normally try to do, I'll mute things and bring things back. And Natasha was, no, we need to have this dance feel throughout. So make sure to have that 4 on the floor. So once this project opens, you'll see that consistency. We also have this really nice rap. I'll show you the rap part. We had a lot of trouble with the rap part as well. But let's see. Let's play a little bit.
1,000 years go by.
4 on the floor, kick drum throughout.
I still love you plenty.
Vinyl crackle. So vinyl crackle. A lot of people like to do this, to fake the sound of vinyl crackle, even though you're not listening on vinyl. Sounds a bit silly and cheesy, but whatever. If you like it, do it. So there's a plugin in Ableton Live. There's some plugins that give you that effect, but I feel this is so much better. I just found this on the internet. Just search for vinyl crackle. It's just samples of actual vinyl crackle, right? So you record that, or you just download it and then just place it in different parts of the song wherever you want it. And I feel that's way more authentic than the fake synthesized vinyl crackle sound. But anyway, so that's a bit of vinyl crackle.
8,000 years go by. I wonder if you think of me. I wonder if you think of me now. I wonder if you think of me. I wonder if you think of me now.
Yeah, very, very club music type song. Again, English, Hindi mix, Urdu mixed. Well, there's also Nepalese because the rapper is a Nepali rapper. She did this awesome thing in blend between English and Nepali. I'll show you that section. Actually, so what happened was somebody else was supposed to rap, but that guy was, he was MIA, missing. He didn't. So I have it over here. I can't play it for you, but sadly, it didn't work out with him. This happens a lot when you're working on an album. You have collaborators, and then they'll disappear. There's another song also. We had a collaborator disappeared, but what the nice thing is that we ended up with other collaborators who were even more nice. So this is Zumi, the Nepali rapper. I'll play the section right before we listen to it.
I wonder what you think of me.
I wonder if you think of me in this lifetime between the sheets. Low key write this note to.
If I'm not mistaken, I remember she was in UK when we were producing the album, and I think she sent this when she was in UK, so she recorded this herself. So yeah, so this album was recorded all over the place. So yeah, so that was that's sort of her voice. So she has many layers.
Write this note to self, notations fill my shelf life. Wonder why we still in tune, 808, figure eight, infinity gates. You're the biggest catch till the day I ate. Pokemon Go, I won, they late.
Yeah, so that's, and it goes on.
Yeah, I'm on a vacation. Gotta go back to the vision of creation. So instead I go back to my own Asians. Siento my yak on the song I consider the good of my to a call like I'm ready, sunimla.
And I put auto-tune on her voice, and she was like, sometimes you have to be careful, like singers are not a fan of auto-tune, like the hard auto-tune effect, but I love that effect, so
yak on the song I consider the good of my to a call like I'm ready, sunimla.
Yeah, it works really well, and then
Sunimla. The whole time we wanted to be the love that I found. She was like, when we were me, and we both be alive. Might be the type to get my soul.
yeah, I think most of the drums, the synths were done by Natasha, so she will send me her project. You can see all this stuff she will produce, send me stuff. She, as you can see, if it's a splice loop, it's probably from her, and I kept it as is, and then I will add whatever I feel like, we need to add additional. But yeah, it looks like I didn't add too much. So this is maybe an example where the bass, I wasn't a fan of the bass loop, so I just recorded my own bass. There's like 3 layers of the bass. More like a kick drum kind of bass sound there. So those 3 layers together.
I've been trying to have a conversation, but got my on vacation. Gotta go back.
Yeah, so one is operator, the other one is FM8, also FM synthesis. Both of these are FM synths, and this is just like a kick bass sample. Other elements here, you can see a lot of drum layers, synth elements, guitars. I think I also recorded guitars. Let's hear some of the guitars. Oh yeah, okay, this squeaky type thing. I'll record guitar parts, and transposing audio is such an interesting thing because you never know what you'll discover. Like in the previous song, I showed you how we took Natasha's voice, reversed it, and transposed it up, and that was a nice little feature for a brief moment. Same thing you can try with other instruments, guitars. You record it. Of course, I can play it higher, but if you record it in a particular octave and just transpose it higher, you'll get a different sound. So it looks like I recorded nylon guitars. That's pitched up. And you can hear all the artifacts, and this is actual electric guitar. And just like little snippets like that don't even sound like guitar in the arrangement.
Connection like this from me. When like those punches, Muhammad Ali. You know that you're the only for me.
Yeah, so that's a nice thing to try. It looks like I recorded more guitars. This is more normal playing it. Just a normal, like just grooving with the main groove of the song.
Time to get my soul right. Twin flames, chillin' out we be. Connection like this from me.
Some sustained guitar parts here. What's happening here? Yeah, so that's in the background. This is a nice sound. This is Natasha added this. This is something from Native Instruments Complete. I forget what the instrument was. I froze it and converted to audio. Beautiful sound. Yeah. Sounds a little bit like the gootsing thing, that the strum thing I recorded for Hire Moti, but yeah, nice little instrument there. Oh, the ending. This is fun. So you can hear the stretched guitar.
Call my name. I wonder if you call my name out loud.
And then bring the vinyl crackle back. Right? So you can see I've muted the vinyl crackle in certain places when it's loud. People can't hear it anyway, so why just add it? So only where people can really hear it, I have that element there. Yeah, so that was a little bit of years go by. Let's see what else. Let's pick one more. Okay, let's take a look at Miracle. This was probably the most popular song, and weirdly it got popular in Japan, even though there's no Japanese lyrics or anything like that. I recorded Japanese flute in Hire Moti, but this one was strangely more popular in Japan. Let's check out this song. It's primarily English. Actually, no, it's primarily Urdu and some English elements. The chorus mainly, I believe, is English. But this song, I recorded this. Very proud of the hook I came up with on acoustic guitar. When you're doing pop production, you always have to think about there needs to be something that repeats and people will listen to and hear again and again. It'll be kind of stuck in their head. So for this, I recorded a acoustic guitar part.
Are you up? आजा जानी बजा मेरे कोल दिल को ना मेरे यूं तू रो आजा जानी बजा मेरे कोल you're a goddamn.
So you can hear the acoustic guitar, the groove kicks in. So mix of English and Urdu. Well, let's hear the guitar parts. It starts off filtered. Oops, sorry, wrong one. Oh, I'm using this. I don't know if anybody has heard of this plugin, Sketch Cassette. So all the weird artifacts of the sound is coming from here. It emulates the sound of your signal going through like a cassette recorder. It's kind of a cool effect. I actually have a cassette tape recorder, but too much trouble to hook it up and connect it. The plugin gives it the same effect, so I just stuck with that. Let's hear without the effects. So I think it builds up with the filter, and then here I turn off the effect. So this I recorded with two microphones, and you can see one panned a bit quite to the left, quite to the right, so you get this stereo widening effect. And I remember I kept the mic very close to the guitar, so you can hear all the, just me moving my hand. Like very intimate, and yeah, I cut the sound. That's my classic technique where
You're a goddamn miracle.
right, just for that one word, just cut everything else. So that's what's happening there with the guitar. Yeah, the vocals, it's like a very sensual song. So we have all these, might be interesting to solo this. So that's the main singing part, and you can see so many different layers, right? And panned all over the place. Actually, no, mostly center. Okay, some are panned. This is the response thing.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it's also sung. I think maybe here the ad libs. Yeah, I think it's this one. Right, just like effects, vocal effects. Combine that with the actual vocal.
दिल को ना मेरे यूं तू रो आजा जानी बजा मेरे को miracle you're a goddamn आजा जानी बजा मेरे को दिल को ना मेरे यूं तू रो.
Maybe that's why it was popular in Japan. I don't know. But yeah, so that's the vocal layers that we have there. Let's check out, what's this, funk guitar. Yeah, so I just recorded some electric guitar parts there. Let's check out the main groove. So this is drums. So loops from Natasha, me adding some things. Oh, MIDI. So this one MIDI part I recorded. Hi-hat. Solo the drums. So always consider, right, even if you're using loops, so maybe this was what she initially sent me, and then I added more layers to kind of enhance what's there and kind of add to it, right? So you don't want your music to sound like, oh, it's just a loop I can download from Splice and recreate the song exactly the same. You want it to be authentic a little bit. Right, so this compared to just this, it is very similar, but it's just accenting everything else. Yeah, interesting. I'm going for more acoustic drum samples there in this example. Yeah, so that's the drums. This song also has a featured vocalist Nimra, so let's hear Nimra's part. I like that. Sorry, I want to distracted. I haven't heard this in a while. So this is a cool effect on a guitar, electric guitar. Right? If you have a whammy bar on the guitar, you just like flick it, you get this nice, very fast vibrato effect. That was her verse. She comes back again later on. If I close this, let's go back here.
I wanna hold you, be close to you, feel you, been near you, baby, I've been missing you. All the time I'm needing you. In my head it feels right, hold me tight, all night, bye.
I think we have a lot of debates, which if you've worked on any production with people, there'll always be debates. I like the hard auto-tune effect. I think in this case, Natasha didn't want it. But just for fun, let's fast. Right? So this to fast. I'll set humanize off, so it's like very robotic. Let's just for fun here with that effect.
I wanna hold you, be close to you, feel you, been near you, baby, I've been missing you. I wanna hold you, be close to you, feel you, been near you, baby, I've been missing you.
Yeah, it's all subjective. Some people can like this effect. Some people are like, no, this is not nice. But yeah, so good to have options, right? Both options. You want a more natural sound, or you want this hard auto-tune effect. One thing I'll talk about this song is I was a little confused. So I just noticed this. So when Natasha sent it to me, the drums and everything was not aligned to the metronome. So it says 4/8 here, but if you just listen to the drums, right, that doesn't align up. But somehow it aligns. If you look at just see, this is a bar, 2 bars, 3 bars, 4 bars, 5, 6. After 6 bars, it kind of aligns up. So it's almost like a polyrhythm. Like if you listen to the metronome along with this. Also, why is it just 3? It's 4, right? I'm only hearing 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah, I'm getting a bit confused. Yeah, so a bit weird there, but. So I primarily, I can't remember what happened. So I was confused about the time signature and everything. But when I recorded my parts, I'd listen to the drums that she had and just followed that instead of listening to the metronome. I always recommend use the metronome when you're recording. But in this case, I could not use it. So I just, and first I was thinking, that's interesting. Maybe I can do something in this 4/8 on top of the groove, but it was sounding really strange. So I just stuck with listen to the groove and follow along just to make sure everything is aligned. But yeah, luckily I didn't have any problem in terms of, aligning things. As you can see, it looks aligned. Everything looks like it's following the grid. But when you turn on the metronome, you hear that that's not correct. It's not quite aligning up. So that was an interesting thing we had to deal with. All right, so that's Miracle featuring Nimra Gilani. Let's see if I can show you more. Hopefully all this is helping maybe learning a thing or two about producing music, how to do stuff in a DAW, recording instruments, synthesizers, whatnot. Let's check out Soin Nehi. We'll probably see if there are any questions. Okay, so some scam question there. All right, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and open this one. So this is probably a very traditional sounding. Well, sorry, this is a remix, and I did a remix for this. We'll talk about this later. Let's open the original project. Don't save this. A little bit more traditional sounding arrangement. We recorded some nylon guitar, also some people in Nepal, and also Miranda is another vocalist. She's Indian vocalist. She's been featured here. Very beautiful voice. Let me play you some of this. So that's the nylon string guitar part.
পুরানো সেই দিনের কথা ভুলবি কি রে হায় ও সে চোখের দেখা প্রাণে
Yeah, I'm missing some files here. Oh, just one file's missing. It's fine. Yeah. So that's Miranda.
दिल के पिंजरे की मेरे पास चाबी नहीं की होंगी बातें गई काटी होंगी रातें गई.
Yeah, very mellow, very soft kind of song. Let's hear a little bit of drum groove I introduced at this point.
तेरा रहे तेरा.
If I solo it. Sorry, that's a piano. Where's the drums? Drums here. So I'm using some of the Nagara drums, but you can see it's filtered heavily. I want it to be kind of dark and kind of in the background, not come in the way of the main vocals and the main flow of the song. So that filter really helped. And some ambient pad-like sounds. All the pad sound here. So that was just for this section here. It's kind of like the bridge. More vocals here.
একটিবার আয় রে সখা প্রাণের মাঝে আয় মোরা সুখের দুঃখের কথা
Beautiful part, and then going back to
सोए नहीं जागे नहीं खोए नहीं भागे नहीं.
the main hook of the song, and then the guitar part has changed, also kind of creating like a new, like a melodic motif. And then the key changes and kind of fades out. So fairly simple song, but also like really beautiful elements being used. I think the combination of nylon string, classical Spanish style guitar playing, along with traditional, North Indian classical music, and Natasha singing on top of that was really nice combinations. So very simple arrangement. So this was a song, like a year later I realized, oh, it could be nice to remix this and kind of do a new interpretation of it. So I did do a remix. Let's take a look at the remix version. I think 1.2 I'll open. Let's see. It's a different type of remix. It's maybe hard to call it a remix because usually when people say remix, you might be thinking like dance beats and all that stuff. I do have some of that, but it's mostly just a rearrangement with a lot of electronic elements. Let's play a little bit for you. Yeah, missing two samples, but it's fine. This always happens in Ableton Live. Samples go missing. So what you're hearing is this guitar part. I sampled in here, chopped it up. And just playing different elements of it. There's a piano thing here. What's happening here? Okay, just playing piano. Yeah. That's Miranda's voice, but I put auto-tune on it because now this is my remix. I can do whatever I want. So there's auto-tune on her voice, maybe sacrilegious or whatever you want to call it, but I thought it was a cool effect. I feel it works really well. We've heard this traditional North Indian classical music for centuries. Why not try something different, right? So it's not like you have to only hear it in one way. You can hear it in different ways. Here's another section that I did some vocal harmony processing. Yeah, some interesting vocal processing to create this synthetic effect. Some groove here. Let me jump back to the beginning. There's a nice element here right before the song starts. I sampled where is it? Dialogue from a movie that I placed. Where is it? The dialogue track. Again, so many dialogue. Let's hear this part.
पता है जब तू स्कूटर भगाता था ना मैं तेरे को जोर से पकड़ के बैठा कितनी बार तो सो ही जाती थी मतलब लुत्फी अगर तू मेरे को छोड़ के नहीं जाता तो सोती रहना मैंने लुत्फी तू लेट हो गया मैंने फ्लाईओवर क्रॉसिंग
Yeah, so I personally just really like the reference of what they are saying in this dialogue as opposed to what Natasha is singing about. I felt that there was a strong connection there, so I kept it. So there, let's see what else. Moving on. Yeah, let's check out this one. So a lot of like bizarre sound effect layers, but still works in this very very interesting way. So this entire section here is mostly samples. So if I just solo this part here, just sound effects, right? And few drum hits. And it goes into the next section there. This entire section. It is the second hook that they added on the guitar part. So I just want to layer, something more interesting at the bottom over here with all these sound effects. And then the main groove kicks in. So let's just isolate the drums so you can hear the entire drum element here. I use a loop. I don't know where I got this one. I don't have a Splice subscription, but maybe from Splice, maybe from somewhere else. Yeah, like a hi-hat thing, but I also have hi-hat that I sequenced, right? And then all the other elements you can see directly on the track. This thing I'll do sometimes. So if you have these, plucky percussion elements, it's nice to transpose it. Right? In Ableton Live, at least you have a transpose option. So original sample is this, and then if you transpose it, kind of implying a melody, very simple 2-note melody. Yeah, then the whole thing ends. Where is that part? In here. Where is that guitar part? Oh, here. Group. Yeah, so that's basically it. Like I said, not a traditional style of remix where you just put beats, 4 on the floor beats on it. It's more like a rearrangement, reinterpretation of this very simple arrangement. So this is Soine's remix. So yes, I think that's about time. We can end it over here unless there are any specific questions. I hope this was helpful, taking a look at some of my techniques of producing music, combining my knowledge of Western music production, and my experience. I haven't studied Indian classical music or anything like that formally, but I've lived in India for many years. I've experienced this music, so I kind of know how to work with it. So just blending some of those sounds along with these Western elements was kind of one of my goals for this album. So definitely check it out if you haven't already. It's quite an, like, if I may say so myself, quite an amazing album. I definitely enjoy producing it. I would say one of my most proud works, and yeah, it's not super long. There are 11 songs in here. You can see 3 minutes, 2 minutes, maximum length 4 minutes over here for a song. So it should be fairly easy to check out. And if you want to come back, if you're curious about certain production techniques, after you listen to the album, you come back and maybe watch this video. Might be interesting to see some of the production techniques. All right, let me see if there are any questions. Yeah, I think we're good. I don't see any questions here. Thank you again for attending this live stream. Check out Crypto Cipher Academy. Check out Crypto Cipher's sampled instruments. If you're a producer, you could use some of these. We have some free sounds as well that you can just get and start working already in whatever DAW you want to use. It doesn't have to be Ableton Live or Logic, whatever you like using. FL Studio maybe. So check out our content, and thank you again for attending this session. All right, take care, you guys. Bye-bye.